Today's adventure takes us to Waldheim Cemetery here near Chicago. This is the largest Jewish cemetery in the Chicago area. Well over 100,000 graves. I think it's close to 200,000 at this point in time. Absolutely spectacular cemetery. We're going to explore the cemetery today, and we're going to find some graves of some famous people that you may or may not know, and we're going to tell you their story. So come join me as we explore Waldheim Cemetery. I believe this to be the largest Jewish cemetery here near the Chicago area, containing the graves of well over 100,000 Jewish residents of Chicago. This cemetery is massive. There is no way I can cover this cemetery in one day. That's how big it is. Like with a lot of these tombstones, we see a photo. Fox family here. Died 1909. Her husband 1916. Just a massive cemetery. Photo here of Moritz Kolber, died 1903 at the young age of 38. It's really just incredible as you walk through these places. This is interesting. Over here we have a couple slabs, 3 slabs, 4 slabs of marble. The Young family. Arthur Young right here. Simon Young. Look at this. Somebody decided to wipe away their photos. Very sad. Sally Young. We are coming up on the absolutely beautiful and large mausoleum of the Balaban family. Look at this thing. I mean, this is an absolutely huge building. Huge mausoleum. Apologies for the noise. I am right next to a major road. So Barney Balaban is entombed in this mausoleum. One of the many people entombed in this mausoleum. And he was the Chicago theater chain co-founder and president of Paramount Picture Corporation in New York City. He was born in Chicago's West Side in 1887. He was a son of a small grocery store owner. He opened Circle Theater in 1913, located over on Kedzie Avenue and Roosevelt Road in Chicago. It was the first film house in Chicago with a balcony. Several years later, he partnered with Sam Katz, and they planned a group of theaters. One of them being I wonder if I can see in this thing. One of them being the Central Park Theater, which opened in 1917. It was the first air-conditioned theater. Now you can't see in there. Nice stained glass windows, however. And what they would do was they would put large blocks of ice in the balcony and actually run fans over them to cool down the theater. Very interesting and innovative way for air conditioning. Ultimately, they'd have about 38 theaters in the Chicago area, 57 total in Illinois. And when Paramount Pictures purchased 2/3 of his company, him and Kat's company, he became chairman of the board of directors of Paramount. And a month after that, in 1936, he became president of Paramount. Barney died of a heart attack in 1971 at the age of 83 years old. What a massive, beautiful Egyptian-style monument to him. There are several large obelisks in the cemetery. Sam Meisenberg is the name. Born April 15th, 1896. Died April 21st, 1914. Very young man. At Veracruz, Mexico, while in action as a U.S. Marine. So that 18-year-old man died 6 days after his 18th birthday. Nice, large marker for him. I want to check out this mausoleum. Large limestone mausoleum, very Art Deco style. And it's interesting, this gate, this fence, very old. Very old. What a beautiful mausoleum. In memory of Bessie Friedman Kerman is what it says above the door. Wow, that's a massive building. And then in front of it, there's this structure. So I don't know if this is a tomb or what this is. It looks rather odd there. Perhaps a tomb. But this structure, Art Deco in appearance, so I'm assuming maybe 1920-ish or something. Massive doors. Menorahs on them. Just beautiful. And adjacent to that, another beautiful Art Deco style mausoleum. Not quite as big as the Friedman Mausoleum. Man, it says above the door. Beautiful mausoleum. Let us go over here. I don't think this is a mausoleum. Some kind of building. Let's check this out, see what it is. If it says what it is. It says built by New Sisterhood, 1932, donated to Austrian Galician congregation. I do not know what the purpose of this is. As we look in here, oh, it's bathrooms. That's what it is. There's a men only on the left, women's only on the right, and straight ahead there appears to be a fountain. It is locked, not in use at this time. Behind this wonderful building, another mausoleum here, Roth Hofstadter. Another Art Deco-ish type mausoleum. These are just beautiful. I don't know that we can see in there because there's a lot of ornamentation on the door. Let's see if I can. It's about as good as it's going to get. A nice, very nice picture there in the back. Mosaic. We are in a Jewish cemetery. You will not see depictions of Jesus. You will not see crosses. You will not see anything referencing Christian religion. Hi guys, how are you? Just passing through? Okay, on to the exploration. You never know what you're going to find in cemeteries. This next grave we're going to look at is that of Clara Peller. And those that are probably over 40, 45, remember who Clara Peller is. She is the woman from the commercial back in the 80s, from the Wendy's commercial, who would say, "Where's the beef?" Probably the most famous commercial of the 1980s. And the interesting thing about Miss Peller, she didn't start acting until in her 80s. So she was a manicurist for about 35 years. And she was on the set. They were doing a commercial, and they needed somebody to be a manicurist in a barber shop. So she did. And the ad agency liked her so much that they considered her, and not only considered, they hired her for the Wendy's commercial with her famous line when her and two other old ladies were at the counter and she lifted the bun up and she saw like a little quarter-sized beef patty there, and she would say, "Where's the beef?"
Hey, where's the beef?
Probably her most famous role, one of a few roles actually. She had gotten several jobs after her Wendy's commercials. And here we have her grave right here. Beloved wife, mother, grandmother, and talented actress Clara Peller, 1902 to 1987. Extraordinary person missed by all. So she took a job being a spokesperson for Prego spaghetti sauce. But in one of the ads for Prego spaghetti sauce, apparently she said, "I found it," referring to her question, "Where's the beef?" in her Wendy's ads. And Wendy's did not like that, and they fired her. Very nice tombstone here, Pauline Rosenstein. So, needless to say, as we saw on her tombstone, she did die in 1987 at the age of 85, shortly after her 85th birthday. And there you have it, the grave of "Where's the beef woman?" Clara Peller. As I walk here in the cemetery, the deer are really keeping an eye on me. They're very interested in what I am doing. Mama with her doe. Hopefully the buck's not around. There they go. Oh, there's 3 deer. 4 deer. Oh, and there's the buck. You see the buck? Right behind the tombstone there, staring at me. Yeah, he's out with his family for a stroll. Yeah, I won't bother them. I'll just go the other way because they get in defensive mode, and they will attack if they feel as though the does are threatened in any way. So I won't. I'll give them a wide berth there. Look at this cemetery, though, guys. I mean, just massive, massive cemetery. They don't get much bigger than this, I'll tell you that. Let's see what this mausoleum is about. Ike Bezark. Sealed off. And for those of you that have watched my videos for a while know that generally means the family lineage has come to an end. There's no other family, and so they'll go ahead and they'll seal off the mausoleum. All right, I got my paperwork sorted here. Hopefully it won't blow away like it tried to. Okay, this next grave we're looking for is that of Eddie Schwartz, Chicago Eddie. And those from Chicago who live in Chicago probably remember Eddie Schwartz. He was famous on the radio, well known for over 20 years. He started in WIND in 1973, if people remember that. I moved over to WGN in 1982, where he hosted for 10 years before walking out because of a salary dispute. And here we have his grave already. Chicago Ed, right here. He went to WLUP after leaving WGN, but he left in 1995 due to health problems. Eddie H. Schwartz, Chicago Ed, May 5th, 1946, February 3rd, 2009, distinguished radio broadcaster and newspaper columnist. The problem with his health is he was obese and he had many health problems. In 2005, he was diagnosed with renal failure, and he died in 2009 at the age of 62 due to kidney and heart problems. So there's the final resting place of Chicago's famous radio personality, Eddie Schwartz. All right, as we leave the grave of radio personality Eddie Schwartz, we enter through this arch, and the next one we're going to find, because we're not going to waste time here, we are not wasting time on this video, Samuel Nails Morton. Now, Samuel Nails Morton, he was born in New York in 1893, grew up in Chicago's Jewish community. In his teens, he had joined a Jewish gang and was an excellent street fighter. Well, this is interesting. We have a bench levy here with a large spoon. Don't know what that's about, but maybe she was a cook and needs a spoon. So anyways, Samuel joined a Jewish street gang. He was an excellent fighter and quick with his fists, which earned him the nickname Nails. In 1917, he was arrested for almost beating several members of a Polish gang to death, found guilty of assault, and had the option of going to prison or enlisting in the military since World War I was just starting out. He elected to enlist in the military. He was serving in World War I, went over to France. In one engagement where his company was pinned down by machine gun fire, Morton led the squad of men through no man's land and took out the machine gun. And he was praised for that. And by the time he got out of the war, he was a lieutenant. Look at this beautiful curbing up here. When he returned to Chicago, he opened some gambling parlors after he got out of the war. He became friends with Dean O'Banion. If you remember, if you're if you're a fan of my channel, you've seen when I did the Gains of Chicago video, and I'll see if I can leave the link up above me. And became friends with Dino Banyan, the boss of the Northside Gang. And here we have Samuel's tombstone already with the Morton obelisk. So anyways, he got involved with the Northside Gang, did some bad stuff. In 1920, 2 police officers came into Pekin Cafe, began drinking at the bar. When the 2 officers tried to force Morton to pay for it, at gunpoint, Morton shot and killed both officers. He claimed self-defense and was acquitted. Here it is here, Samuel Morton, 1893 to 1923, rest in peace. So what did him in, though, was he was a horse lover and loved to ride horses. And in 1923, he went for a ride on a horse in Lincoln Park. It wasn't his horse. It was somebody else's horse. The horse threw him off and then trampled him and killed him. Well, O'Banion and his gang weren't very happy with this horse. So a couple days after his death, they went and got the horse out of the stable, took the horse to Lincoln Park where it had killed Morton, and shot the horse dead. And that story was actually reenacted in the movie Public Enemy in 1931. So a little story there about a gangster, World War I hero, turned gangster, Samuel Morton. As we see in a lot of these old cemeteries, a lot of settling. Abraham Milberg, World War I, died in 1949. And what I've noticed in this cemetery too is a good amount of sunken graves. It appears that a lot of people in the cemetery were not buried in any kind of a vault or structure that was solid enough to prevent collapsing. Therefore, a lot of these graves are sunken in. Well, this is unfortunate here. We have a tree that went down and unfortunately took out many tombstones with it. How sad. As we see, the tree is still here, has not been removed. And where was it? So it was actually right there. It took out these tombstones and somehow upset the ground enough to take out that. I'm sure there was quite a racket when that tree came down. Look at that, took out that tombstone. And yeah, it really did a lot of damage. A lot of damage, guys. That's a shame. That is a shame. Well, this is interesting. It's like a little entrance to a cemetery within the cemetery. Let's go check this out a second while we're here. This is really something. Look at the vines. Look at the vines on this thing. Vine covered. Rosenberg. Schatz is the name. I don't even think you'd probably see that during the summer. Again, a sealed mausoleum. This is something that you would see in a haunted mansion or something, you know, haunted graveyard somewhere. That is wild. As we enter through here, we are going to try to find the grave of Michael Todd. And those going, who's Michael Todd? Well, I think maybe my older watchers would know who that is. Michael Todd is the ex-husband of Elizabeth Taylor. So he was born Avron Hirsch Goldbagen in 1909. He began his career in construction business where he opened the College of Bricklaying of America. The school was forced to close when the Bricklayers Union did not view the college as an acceptable place of study. Beautiful monument here. Bernstein is the name on this one. He then served as a contractor to Hollywood studios' soundproofing production stages. See some old photos on here. Goldstein is the name here. The Ron Gold. He then decided to get into theater and produced The Hot Mikado, which opened on Broadway in March of 1939. I have to watch where I'm walking. These graves are really, some are sunken in, some are on hills. It's kind of nuts. Anyways, Michael Todd went on to produce 17 Broadway shows. He was a film producer known for his 1956 production of Around the World in 80 Days, which won an Academy Award for Best Picture. As we look at all of the graves in here, it's just a massive cemetery. So anyways, he married Elizabeth Taylor in 1957, but unfortunately, a year after he married Elizabeth Taylor in 1958, he died in a private plane crash. He was flying in a twin-engine plane in March of 1958, and here we go. Here's Goldbagen. This is, I believe, his mother and father, and behind that, and there's Avram Hirsch Goldbagen, Michael Todd, 1909 to 1958. So anyways, the plane was going through icing condition. It was a twin-engine plane. Hit icing conditions. One engine went out. The plane lost control because it was too heavy with ice and crashed, killing all four on board. And this is interesting, a set of, I don't believe those are real pearls, because that would be a little crazy. Pearls there. So, and a fun fact about Michael Todd, he was Elizabeth Taylor's third husband and the only one of the 7 that she did not divorce. So that's interesting as well. So that is the grave of Michael Taylor. So this cemetery is full of a lot of little secrets, a lot of little things going on here, famous people. Okay, guys, what a massive cemetery. I mean, we've explored some great graves today. And thank you so much for joining me on this exploration. I feel like I've chipped away at about just a small percentage of the cemetery. That's how big it is. And I will have to come back here and explore some more. So thank you again, and thank you for watching my video. And as always, until next time, keep exploring.